Okay, everybody, excited for today's show. I get to go back to my roots a little bit, talk about Ayurvedic-based medicine. Many of you know that I spent many, many months over in India. I actually traveled there 3 times to study at Ayurvedic clinics all over India, all the way from the tip of India, all the way up to Dehradun, the Rishikesh-based area, and amazing, amazing times. I mean, literally probably studied at about 6 or 7 different clinics over the years and got to immerse myself in Ayurvedic medicine. Well, there's one thing that Ayurvedic medicine talks about doing every single day, and that is protecting your liver, detoxifying the liver. And that's because they've always shared in, of course, their own natural language, native language, but translated to English is essentially how the health of the liver goes, so goes the health of the entire body. And that is this very dark red organ underneath the right side of the rib cage. It is filtering all the blood in your body every 6 to 10 minutes or so. And if it's not doing its job fully, well, then those heavy metals, environmental toxins like microplastics, phthalates, parabens, etc., they start to get shuttled to our fat stores. And those fat stores end up being our brain tissue as well, since we know our brain is over, well, about 90% or so fat. So here's the issue, is that although our liver is working every single day, it needs help. It needs our support. And Ayurveda knew this even 6,000 years ago when there wasn't the industrial-based revolution, when there wasn't so much mercury in all the fish we eat, and microplastics in all the tea and beverages we consume, right? So let's go through it today. 5 simple tips. I wanted to share this with you because a lot of health can be complicated, but let's go through 5 tips that will absolutely transform your health over time when done on a daily basis. The first is this: wake up as naturally as you can, not stressed. So that means that waking up to an alarm clock, or an alarm clock blaring at least, is not great for stress. And stress greatly taxes your liver. Why? Because it disrupts your hormones. That's the biggest thing. And a lot of people forget that the liver not only detoxifies many hormones, but it helps to, through an enzyme-based fashion, create many of the hormones as well, at least in active form, like your thyroid as well. Okay, so waking up naturally. Couple quick tips here. If your body needs, if you find, hey, on average, my body needs about 8.5 hours of sleep, what do we need to do to wake up naturally? Work backwards, okay? So if you need to get up by 6, okay, and you need 8 hours of sleep, which most people do, what time do we need to go to bed? 10 o'clock. Okay, so that means not 10 o'clock get in bed, get into bed around 9:40. Give yourself that 20 minutes of latency to be able to fall asleep. Best thing that you could probably do for yourself, get more, better quality sleep. Okay. The next part is this. Let's say you need to wake up for work at a specific time or whatever it might be. The best thing you can do is get a wake light. I've talked about this many times. It's one of my favorites. If I'm not up in time, my wake light will naturally wake me. Every minute for 30 minutes, it gets progressively brighter. And you can just put it 3 feet away from your bed. Mine is Wi-Fi free, Bluetooth free, all of those things. And let's say I still don't wake up because my body's tired. Birds start chirping progressively louder until I wake up and I click the off switch. Much better for your partner as well, if they need to, or they don't need to wake up as early as you. So those are my 2 favorite ways of doing it. Now, my body, I don't have to wake up like I did way back in the day at a very early time. I can wake up naturally, and my body wakes up naturally between 5:30 and 6. That's perfect for me because when I count back 8 hours, I get my 8 hours of sleep. All right, then oftentimes it's 8 hours and 15 minutes, 8 hours and 20 minutes. Like that's just what it ends up being. And sometimes it's 7 hours and 47 minutes. It's what my body needs. I wake up naturally, and that's the best way to start with natural energy, by waking up naturally. Okay, number 2 is this: hydrate. So you don't need to immediately chug water upon waking. It's okay not to do that, right? But you can use the bathroom first, you can brush your teeth, you can do Ayurvedic tongue scraping. I've got a lot of Ayurvedic shows that I'm gonna link up for you today. So head on over to stephencabral.com/3455. I probably have a couple hundred shows just on Ayurvedic medicine if you're interested. So the second one is this: you want to hydrate. So when you're ready, I probably hydrate 30 minutes post-waking. And so you want to hydrate with what Ayurvedic says, bitters, as my mentor, Dr. Pete used to say is bitter is better. Bitter is better. And that's because her mentor, Dr. Vasant Lad from India, always used to share that line. And that basically just means things like gingers or greens or lemon, anything like that with a little bit of bitter is great for helping to cleanse, and I'm using that in air quotes, the liver. So what does it do? It means get the bile moving, right? So again, there's science behind all of these things, but it's okay to talk in Ayurvedic based language. There's nothing wrong with that. It is absolutely true. Just because we speak differently in, 2025, 2026, it's okay, right? Like we can talk that way, but also we can give credit where credit's due, and Ayurveda came up with much of this. So you can do what works for you. What I typically do is drink a glass of green juice. You can use something like the daily fruit and vegetable blend. You can use fresh pressed juice, but either way, add a fresh squeeze of lemon to it or a fresh squeeze of lime. It's a great way to do it. If you need a little bit of sea salt, you can do a pinch of sea salt to wake your body up, give yourself a little bit of a natural boost for the adrenals as well. Nothing wrong with that. A great way to start your day. I always do that. That's about 30 minutes. Yeah, it's even sometimes more, 30 minutes to an hour before I actually consume breakfast. All right, the third thing to do, you can do this before or after breakfast, but you want to begin to gently move the body. I do this before breakfast, and then I do my walk post breakfast. So gently moving your body could be sun salutations. If you've never heard about that before, I'll link that up here today. But that's it's a very gentle movement of essentially of up and down dog. If you've ever heard of up and down dog, if you haven't, you can search it on YouTube as well. It's a great way to get the lymphatic system moving. Some people might just do some gentle jumping on a rebounder or little trampoline, mini trampoline. Some people just might do some, like they do more in traditional Chinese medicine, where you're rotating side to side and kind of tapping your kidneys. If you've never seen that before, I could probably do a show for that on you as well. That's a great way because whenever you do spinal twists, what you do is you massage your internal organs, literally, like your stomach and liver and your bladder and your spleen, your lungs. All of these things get rotated. It's great to bring blood flow and circulation to them as well. So that's some gentle movement. Can't recommend that enough because you're already hydrated first. And then after that, you can do your breakfast. I'm just going to kind of give you my routine. And my breakfast for me, it might be different than yours. You might do eggs and you might do, I don't know, some spinach with it, cooked spinach or whatever you like, whatever you're into, right? That's for you to decide what you want to do for your breakfast nutrition. A lot of what we do in IHP and a lot of what we do for our clients are smoothies. The reason we do this is that Ayurvedic medicine over and over said essentially liquid before lunch. They didn't say that. That's my translation of being 7 different clinics all over India and studying with many, many different people, reading all the texts. They might have done some quark back in the day, which is like a liquid yogurt. They might have done some soup back in the day with certain herbs, fruit juices. Again, I'm not recommending fruit juices, especially since people are not kind of like active on their feet. What I recommend is fruit with all the fiber. So berries, low glycemic berries, mix it with some of your favorite protein powder. Doesn't have to be a lot. I recommend a plant-based to start your day. One of the reasons I recommend that is that it keeps you more in a fasted-based state. Again, I know you're breaking a fast once you start adding these calories, but if you look at the research and the studies that I've shared, you actually stay in a higher state of autophagy until you start to increase mTOR, and mTOR increases to a greater degree when you start to add in a stronger set of amino acids from like animal-based food or dairy. I'm not saying you can't do those. Again, I'm not saying that, but what I do and what we do a lot in our practice is we wait until lunch, okay? Sometimes even a little bit later. And so a great thing that we do, 1 cup of frozen berries. You could add more if you wanted to. You can add in any of your other favorite superfoods. We use daily nutritional support powder. That's 15 grams of a hypoallergenic protein. You could add more pea protein if you wanted to, but the DNS also has all your vitamins, minerals, all the things to basically work with what's called the cytochrome P450 pathway in your liver and the conjugation pathway. You don't need to know anything about that, but these are nutrients that actually give the liver the raw material it needs to keep detoxification. Plus, what does a smoothie have? Well, I drink a liter smoothie. So I'm drinking 32 ounces of smoothie, and it's typically 20 ounces of water or so, at the most 16 to 20 ounces of water, but then I put in my fruit. I'll probably throw in 1 date, put in my powder, good to go, right? And so it makes a really nice, delicious drink that I can consume over an hour, and it gives me a lot of energy. Then after that, if I want, I can do oatmeal, I can do some coffee with that, and good to go. But again, your breakfast might be different, but I'm just sharing with you, easy to digest, right? So whatever you do, easy to digest. Eggs are easy to digest. If they're not food sensitivity for you, then maybe you're doing those a couple times a week. But again, you want easy to digest. That's really what it's all about. No heavy fats, no deep frying, no heavy proteins to start your day. But again, there's so many nuances and caveats. Some people's breakfast is like 11 or 12, right? So it's like, I don't know, is that really breakfast? Maybe you can consider that. So what I'm saying is within a few hours of waking, you don't need any heavy foods to weigh you down and take a lot of your energy for digestion. That's all. All right. The last one is this. Well, I should say after my breakfast, I like to go for a walk. So for me, I'm very fortunate. I had a private practice, worked in private practice for 20 plus years. And then our company went virtual. And so now I can be on calls virtually and I can actually walk and talk at the same time. So really amazing. Love being able to do that to get my steps in, helps with digestion, and also helps to keep balanced blood sugar levels. All right, the last one is this, that in an ideal world for your liver, for the state of your adrenals, for your thyroid health, for overall stress, if you can ease into the day and create a morning routine where you don't need to rush for 90 minutes or so, it does so much for your nervous system and calming your organ-based function, liver, kidneys, adrenals, and so much more. So this routine then stabilizes you to start the day. And that is why, when you see a lot of these things where people are cold plunging first thing to start the day or whatever it might be, maybe fine in the short term, because I understand there's a season for everything. But for the long-term plan, not the best to be that stimulated first thing in the morning. Now, I will also step back and say, we're talking about liver health and daily detoxification. If your goal is weight loss, the only time you can get in a workout is, starting 10 minutes after you wake up. Totally get it. That's the season of life you're in. You are trying to choose weight loss, choose a goal, choose body transformation, and that supersedes what I'm talking about here today. So I like to be realistic, and I like you to know that, for 1% of people or so, they need to do what fits their goals right now, but think maybe longer term, is this the best for me long term? Am I able to ease into the day? When I had a newborn baby and a 2-year-old, was I able to ease into the day? Well, actually I was for a period of time because I just woke up earlier than the rest of the family, right? So it's kind of setting priorities. You do your best with what you can at the moment in time. But if you're able to move more towards this type of anti-inflammatory, natural daily detox, so much better for the health of your body and also aging. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer them. I'll try to link up all the Ayurvedic based podcasts, at least that category, at stevencabral.com/3455. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. I'll talk with you soon. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.